Welcome back to another episode of the Find Food Freedom podcast. This episode is a Fuck Diet Culture Friday episode. Now, usually, the Fuck Diet Culture Friday episode series is me talking about a diet that I don't approve of or that I don't stand behind, which, spoiler alert, is literally every single diet that exists in the world. Because remember, with intuitive eating, the mission is not intentionally shrinking your body. And that's every diet. Now, today, I wanted to make this Fuck Diet Culture Friday episode about clothing sizes in the US and all around the world, because we have clients in Spain, UK, Canada, and New Zealand, Egypt. And no matter where our clients live on the globe, they have similar struggles. And it's that the clothing sizes are royally fucked up. So this is me putting a big middle finger up to all the clothing sizes out there. And as someone who I just did a huge closet clean out this weekend. I took a lot of videos, like time-lapse videos of me going through all the clothes because it's kind of boring to watch me do it. And it was like so strenuous. But it had me thinking so much about clothing sizes and closet cleanouts and body image. And what do we do if there's clothes that don't fit our body anymore, and how this correlates into our relationship with food and body. And so today's Fuck Diet Culture Friday episode is me saying F off to all of the clothing sizes. And we're going to get into practical tips and tricks on if you're cleaning out your closet, if there's clothes that don't fit you anymore, what you can do. Now, I do want to make sure I quote Victoria Garrick Brown on this one. I was on her podcast, The Real Pod, a few months back, flew out to LA, was on her podcast, and she said this on her podcast, and I had never heard this before, and I thought it was so fucking brilliant. She was talking about how, why are clothing sizes even numbers? Like, why don't we have them as colors, right? So it's like, oh yeah, I wear size purple, or oh yeah, I'm size blue, right? Or I'm size green, right? Like whatever color it is. And I thought that was so interesting because it's like, oh, it would be, it would take that morality out of the sizing. And so I thought that was brilliant. And I wish that all of our clothes were color coordinated, or they could be like a fruit, right? It's like, I wear an apple. And so thank you to Victoria for that, because sizes are just so freaking silly. And so I want to come into this conversation first before we get into it, before I give you any tips and tricks, because I should have brought them on camera, but I have two huge bags of clothes that do not fit my body anymore, right? I am coming out of a home renovation project. I am so grateful for that. I am so excited. We ended up doing an addition to our home, and with that, they had to like reconfigure our bedroom as well as our closet. And so I live in Florida. It's summer. It's literally 110 with humidity right now. And all of my clothes have been hanging in the garage because we did not have room to put them anywhere else. We have one of those like garage storage things. And so our clothes were like hanging off of that. Now, because of that, I didn't want to wear any of my clothes that were hanging. I don't want to go out into the garage where it's so freaking hot and pick out clothes. So for the past 7 months, I kid you not, I have my dresser that I put like my staples in, right? It was like it was like my biker shorts, my yoga pants, a few tanks, maybe like one pair of comfy jeans that I really love, like a few basic tops. I have been wearing the same things. I've gotten through such exhaustion with the clothes that have been in my house because I didn't want to go in the garage. Now, throughout this time too, I've been going through a postpartum journey. So my body's been changing unintentionally, and things are happening. And so it's like, okay, now they're like, your closet is ready. Like you can bring the clothes in, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have so many clothes to go through. So with that being said, bringing the clothes back into the home, I was like, all right, I'm not just like going to hang them all up. Like, we're going to go through them. We're going to do the comfort and style test, which if some of you have listened to Find Food Freedom podcasts in the past, you probably have heard that one before, which we'll get to. But in the process, there were a lot of clothes that do not fit my body anymore that I was honestly surprised about. I thought at this point, I just assumed they would fit my body. And I was like, we need to talk about this. We need to talk about what do we do when clothes don't fit our body comfortably anymore? And how do we go about this? So before we get into it, I want to say one thing, or I want to say a few things, disclaimers. One, I recognize my privileges. I am a thin, white, straight-sized, able-bodied, cis, heterosexual woman. Me talking about clothes not fitting my body and all of these things, it's a lot easier coming from the lens that I look through versus some of my colleagues that reside in larger bodies or some of my clients that reside in larger bodies. And when we're talking about clothes specifically, it's a lot easier for me to talk about getting rid of clothes because I know that if I need to buy clothes, I can go find clothes in the next size up at any store because they're going to carry my size. And that is a privilege in the sense of that makes my life easier. I don't even have to think about a store not carrying my size. And that's where, when we talk about people that reside in marginalized bodies, that's a whole nother layer onto this conversation. So I just want to say I recognize my privileges, and there are things that we can do for those who do reside in larger bodies. I also want to just mention that so many times at Find Food Freedom, we are referring to colleagues that do reside in marginalized bodies for all of our clients, because if you feel more comfortable seeking this information from somebody that resides in a larger body, I am all for that. There are so many people that we lift up, that we love. Two of my favorites that come up right off the top of my head, I truly recommend them to everybody, are Brie Campos. Her account is Body Image with Brie. I absolutely adore her. She's a body image therapist who happens to reside in a larger body and share her experience, as well as Vinnie Wellsby. They are an amazing fat activist and speaker and weight bias coach. And we've hired Vinnie to do a lot with our team. So those are two accounts I'm just going to right off the bat encourage you to follow. And there are thousands that I would recommend as well, but that we'll save that for a later episode. So let's get into your cleaning out your closet. You need to clean out your closet. It's overflowing with clothes, and you want your closet to be a safe haven, but you're worried about it triggering you because you know there's lots of clothes in there that don't fit your body anymore and that don't fit comfortably. And you're thinking, okay, I need to clean this out, but I don't want to because maybe I don't have money to buy new clothes. Maybe it's just too scary to buy new clothes, right? And so I want to talk through with you what I was running through my head when this was going on. These are things that I talked through with my clients as well. And so first off, I want to also acknowledge that your discomfort is valid. If and when you are trying on clothes and they do not fit your body, if you feel uncomfortable or you feel discomfort, or this is not a fun activity to do, your discomfort is valid. And we're going to jump off into that a little bit more when we say clothes are too small or too big. But before we get into that, it's like there's so many layers to this conversation. There's so much nuance. So I have a sheet in front of me and I'm trying to hit all the points, but there's so many places I want to take this conversation. What to do if you have clothes that are too small or too big when you're cleaning out your closet. First things first, you don't have to get rid of them. That was, I said before I hit record here that I did an Instagram question box on my Instagram story today where I let people know that I was doing a closet clean out. And I said, drop all your questions, all your concerns, everything related to a closet clean out. And there were 20 different ways people asked, what do I do with the clothes if they don't fit my body? Too big or too small? People called them their just in case clothes, right? I love that with air quotes. So my first piece of advice to you, you don't have to get rid of them. Now, it's very, very important to recognize the intention of why you're not getting rid of the clothes, because diet culture version of Sammy 10 years ago, I wouldn't get rid of some of the clothes that were too small for me, let's say, and I would put them on display in my closet. And I would say, that's my motivation to lose weight. And I would use those clothes as like a reminder of, you need to lose weight. Your body's not good enough. Okay. We aren't doing that anymore. It's 2023. Okay. We're respecting our body. So if you do have clothes that are too small, you can get rid of them. And I'm going to walk you through what I did with mine. There were lots and lots of clothes that do not fit my body anymore. Like I said, I am going through a postpartum time. I'm like, how many months is my daughter? She's about 15-ish months, 14 and change months. So I'm 14 and change months postpartum, and my body is just shaped entirely different. I don't weigh myself, so I have no idea what my weight is, but I can tell you that during my closet clean out, I had 6 different sizes that were in my closet, 6 different clothing sizes. And after this clean out, some of the ones that were the larger sizes fit. Some of the ones that were the smaller size fit. Some of the ones that were larger didn't fit. Like, that's where I'm saying, like, huge middle finger to the US clothing sizes, because you can't just say I'm a size 10, right? Like, you don't know. So what I did with the clothes that were too small, I had to grieve a little bit. Now, the Sammy who I am today, with what I've done with my relationship with my body and food, I don't mean grieve like crying, although so many of my clients will go through that. There were definitely times in my life where that would come up, and you're allowed to feel that. But I meant grieve in the sense of, there were a few pairs of jeans that I just loved how they used to fit my body. They were so comfortable. They were like my high-waisted jeans with, like, the rips were in the perfect places, and I could dress them up, I could dress them down. It's just like, that's my thing. I loved those. And there were like 3 pairs of them that I really thought that they were going to fit my body, and they didn't. And I was like, and you know what? Let me rephrase that. They fit. I could pull them up. I could button them, but I could barely breathe. So let's start there. This is what earlier on the episode, I said the comfort and style test. We have to do a comfort and style test when we are trying on clothes to determine if we should keep them. So that's a really important note. I didn't even write down on my sheet today, but some people would try on jeans. They'd pull them up, get them over their hips, button them, and say, okay, these fit. Those don't fit in my head. That doesn't mean they fit. First, I do a comfort test. So I'm not looking in the mirror. I pull these jeans up, I button them, and I'm like, all right, can I breathe? The answer was like, kind of. It's like, okay, so I could stand and wear these jeans. Let me sit down. I tried to sit down in these jeans, and immediately it cuts off the circulation in my body. I like can barely breathe in my stomach. And like, it creates like that, your stomach, like a pouch, and then it's like digging in under your ribs. I was like, I can't breathe. I couldn't do a squat. I couldn't bend over. So sure, I could pull them up, I could button them, but I couldn't breathe. They're not comfortable. So I didn't even look in the mirror with these jeans, because even though I know they would have passed my style test because they're my favorite style of jeans, they didn't pass the comfort test. So if they're not comfortable on my body, I can't wear them. Okay. And the old version of me would say, oh, you can button them. Oh, you could just wear them somewhere where you're going to only stand up. What? When are we only standing up? And so it's important to recognize if something does not fit your body comfortably, it should not have the privilege to hang in your closet, because your closet needs to be a safe haven, a safe space that when you walk in and when you choose something to wear, you know it's going to fit your body comfortably. So when I determined that these jeans did not fit my body comfortably, I was like, shit, this sucks. And I'm an intuitive eating counselor. I'm a dietitian. I am someone that I would really firmly like say I have peace with food in my body, but it fucking sucks. I really wanted these jeans to fit and they didn't. And there was like three that I really loved and then three other ones that just did not fit. And I was like, well, shit. So what did I do? There were certain pairs of jeans and certain pairs of other things, right? Shorts, whatever they were, tops, dresses, rompers that I really genuinely love. And I was like, I'm not ready to part with these. I understand that they don't fit my body. Some of them didn't fit comfortably, right? Like the jeans, I could put them on my body, but they didn't fit comfortably. Some just straight up didn't fit my body. And at the stage of life that I'm in now, I'm in those childbearing years. We're in our family planning years. Of course, you know, I understand that my body is going to continue to change if I am so lucky to bear more children. And so in the next few years, we would like to try for another child. So in my head, I'm like, these clothes are not going to fit. They're definitely not going to fit over the next few years of my life, but I'm still not ready to get rid of them. And whether you're bearing children or not, even if I don't have the ability to bear children anymore, because I share that I went through IVF. And so we'd have to go through, another frozen embryo transfer. And I really don't know what the future holds. There's still a really good chance that these clothes never fit my body again, even if I don't have children again. But I wasn't ready to part with them. So I created a bag that I put clothes that I'm not ready to say goodbye to yet. I really love these jeans. There were some Lululemon things that fit years ago that I was like, I love these shorts. I love these pants, but they just weren't comfortable. And so I put those in a bag and said, you know what? I'm going to come back to these someday. Maybe I'll be ready to get rid of them, even if they don't fit my body. Maybe they will fit my body, but I'm going to put these things in a bag and get them out of sight, out of mind, out of my closet. I'm not going to hang them in my closet and keep them as these pieces of clothes that I'm going to try to, air quotes, motivate me to lose weight. Hell no. First of all, that doesn't do any type of motivation. That just creates shame in our body of, I wish I fit into that. Why don't I fit into that? It's a constant reminder. It's a constant trigger. So the clothes that didn't fit my body right now, they're in a bag, and that bag is not in my closet. You could put it in your garage. You could put it in your attic. You could put it in a second closet. You could put it wherever, but it is not in my closet because it is out of sight, out of mind, that it doesn't fit anymore. There were other clothes as well that didn't fit my body that I was like, you know what? I don't miss these. I'm not going to miss these clothes. I'm ready to part. So there was another bag of clothes that didn't fit my body that I was ready to donate, that I was ready to get rid of. And so in addition to donating them, we could also choose to sell some of these clothes. And that depends on how comfortable you are with technology. There's all different sort of apps now. I can speak from experience that I have used Poshmark before to sell items of clothing that I no longer wanted, no longer fit my body, whatever the reason was. And I sold those, and it was super easy to do. And that's a way that you can take that money that you make from selling those clothes to putting towards new clothes. Now, a lot of the questions I got in the Instagram Q&A box were also related to, well, I don't have money to purchase new clothes if I'm getting rid of these clothes. Like basically saying that the only answer is to shrink the body because we can't get new clothes. And here's where I want to just offer some perspective on that. First of all, I totally understand where you're coming from because I used to also have these thoughts and go through similar thought process. But here's the perspective I want to offer. Do you have the basics? And what I mean by that is, do you have one pair of jeans that fits comfortably? Do you have one to a few dresses, right, that fit comfortably? Do you have one pair of shorts? Do you what are those things? Now, everybody too has different style, has different pieces that are important to them. But I want you to look at, do you have the basics that fit your body comfortably? Now, that does not mean that you're not allowed to go out and get new clothes. I'm speaking to the people who maybe don't have the funds right now to replace pieces or just simply don't want to. Now, that doesn't mean that you're only allowed to wear the basics for the rest of your life, but this is where I like to challenge people because, and again, I'm speaking from a little bit of experience here of someone who has social media. I'll scroll through social media. I will get targeted ads for clothes, especially if you are talking to other people about cleaning out your closet or clothes that don't fit or saying the word clothes out loud. Our phones are listening. The type of marketing now that you're getting target marketing for what you're talking about if your phone is around, right? So let's say you just cleaned out your closet and you're like very aware that you want more clothes. Now all your Instagram ads are going to be for all these cute boutiques or all of these clothes that are popping up, and it's going to add to that pressure of feeling like you need to replace things. And this is where, when I go through a season like I'm doing now of getting rid of clothes, I like to give myself, whether it's a few days, a few weeks, a month, whatever it is, to see how I'm doing with the clothes that are in my closet. See if there's, whatever, however many weeks go by, and I'm like, I could really use, I don't know, I'm going to use a random example. I could really use a cute, simple black dress. Like, that would be nice to dress up, to dress down. I really wish I had that, right? And if you find yourself saying that over and over again, it helps you compile a list of things that maybe you want to focus on. And just like we said that we can sell items on Poshmark, or some of you may have, like, in your town, I know I've seen it here in Jacksonville, where there'll be like local like pop-ups where people are bringing their clothes, and it's like a used thrift store, but it's an area where everyone's bringing their clothes. I know this is like a trendy thing. It could be selling it back. There's many different ways. So it could be a yard sale, right? Depending on where you live, whatever you want to do. So we can take that money and put it towards clothes that after a few days, weeks, whatever it is, you're saying, I really need X, Y, and Z. But I want to challenge you that in the beginning, those thoughts that are keeping you stuck in, I need to shrink my body to fit the clothes. No, you do not. You can still keep the clothes that are too small. You do not have to get rid of them if you're not ready, but you don't need them hanging in your closet, motivating you to intentionally lose weight and talk down to yourself and have that negative self-talk. What if we stored those clothes out of sight, out of mind, had a safe haven in our closet, a safe space of clothes that fit our body comfortably, assessed what clothes we could use more of? Maybe you find that you don't need more. It was just that you were used to having 7 pairs of jeans in your closet, and now you have only 2, let's say, but those 2 pair fit really, really comfortably, and you find yourself choosing them. And I am so, like, this is so me. Like, for example, I shared on this episode how I got rid of a lot of denim that I really loved. But then I started to recognize the denim that I did have in the closet that fit my body comfortably, and I liked it. I'm like, if those jeans were sitting in my closet, I wouldn't choose them because they don't fit comfortably. And I would just be triggered to be like, I need to fit into those. I wish I had them. Meanwhile, I have about 2 to 3 pairs of jeans that fit comfortably that I'd always be choosing those anyways. So I think sometimes what can happen is when we're getting rid of certain clothes, if we have additional ones laying around and those are the ones we'll be using, it's almost like we are conditioned to to think we need more, but do we really need more? And that is obviously such a privileged question to ask. That's going to be different for every single person. But I do want to challenge you if you're in the mindset of like, I have to shrink my body because I can't afford new clothes. Do you have one of each basic that you can use for for some time to see what you need? And I want to use I kind of want to wrap the episode with something that I really recognized and I wanted to share with you as well. So let's go back to the denim. I feel like jeans are like the most triggering. I hear that from clients because jeans can be extremely uncomfortable, but they can also be really, really comfortable if you find the right ones, if they fit your body correctly, if they're stretchy. Like I only buy stretchy jeans. I do not have any like non-stretchy denim. So I wanted to talk about how wildly different my self-talk was 2 minutes apart. Same exact body. My body didn't change shape. My body didn't change size, but I tried on one pair of jeans that were too small. And then 2 minutes later, I tried on another pair of jeans that fit perfectly, and how different my self-talk was, but also how different like the emotions were that came up for me, like how I was feeling in my body was so different, but nothing changed in my body. And this is when you're making peace with your body, when you're working on the body image work and your body image journey, this is a huge realization. This is a huge light bulb moment that a lot of people can have. Now, me talking about it isn't going to necessarily give you that. It's something that you have to feel and experience in your body. But my hope is that me sharing this with you can help prompt you to be intentional to take note of this. So when I tried on the jeans that did not button, that I could not breathe, I could barely get them up over my hips, I instantly recognized the discomfort that I felt physically. And the instant thought was, I wish these jeans fit. Then right from there, it went into like, like, why don't these jeans fit? Come on. Like it started to be that negative self-talk. Now, the old version of me, the old diet culture version of me would have taken it further and been like, you're such a bad person. You're so disgusting, so on and so forth. You may be at a point in your journey where that has happened to you. As you start to heal your relationship with your body, you're going to be able to catch those negative thoughts and stop them and recognize that they don't come up anymore because my worth is not tied to my weight. Like I know logically and I fully believe that because a piece of clothing or an article of clothing doesn't fit, that doesn't make me any less of a person. It doesn't change my character or my worth. But I immediately felt this discomfort. And I found that instead of me truly beating myself up, it wasn't, like I said, I don't really experience that anymore with where I am, but it was more of a grieving of, oh, I remember when I wore these jeans to this concert, right? Or this event. And like, I loved how they felt. I loved how they looked. Like I started to go down this rabbit hole of grieving not having these jeans anymore. And it started to really bum me out. Like the feelings that were coming up for me in that moment were grief and sadness and frustration that they just couldn't fit. And so as soon as I recognized what was happening, I was like, all right, we're taking the jeans off, right? And I shared a little bit of this already, right, earlier in the episode, but now I want to share something I didn't share earlier was that then I pulled up right after that, thankfully, a pair of jeans. I put them on. They were stretchy. They were high-waisted. They had the little rips in my favorite part. They just like fit just right. Right. They passed the comfort test. And so when they passed the comfort test, when I could breathe, sit, jiggle, wiggle, do a squat, bend over, all the things, I was like, okay, now I'm going to look in the mirror. And when I did that, instantly, I was like, ooh, these feel good, right? They feel good. They feel pleasant. So you can probably guess what happened. Then my thought process became pleasant. I was like, ooh, I started like, as I was looking at myself in the mirror, I was like, ooh, okay, here's some outfits I could pull. Like I'm thinking about things in my closet that I'm like, oh, I could dress it down and wear like my flat white sneaks, leather jacket. Like that would be really cute in the fall, or like this big, almost like a burnt orange, brown, tan, white, heavy flannel with my sneaks. I was like, oh, that would be really cute. Then I started running through, oh, I also have these black heeled booties that I could wear with this one black shirt with like a one shoulder, dress it up more. I started doing this, and I realized that in that split second, the feelings, the emotions, the thoughts, everything that I was feeling, that was less than 2 minutes apart from when I had those previous jeans on. And that is the body image work. When we say find clothes that fit your body comfortably, for someone like myself, that I would say I have, again, I know I have thin privilege. I reside in a straight size body, but I also struggled with body image issues for many years. And I've gotten myself to this place of, I would say, a neutral, accepting place with my body. Even though I feel that way, and I really think I have body neutrality, I still went to a negative, uncomfortable, grieving place when I put on jeans that were too small. And so that doesn't mean that I'm bad or I'm failing intuitive eating or my body image is horrible. No, it makes me human. And so to be able to recognize that that happened less than 2 minutes apart, as someone who teaches this, right? This is literally what all of Find Food Freedom is dedicated to, helping people make peace with food in their body. It was such a validating experience because I hadn't done this in a while. I hadn't tried on clothes in a while. And I was like, oh my gosh, 2 minutes apart, 2 pair of jeans, one too small, one fit just right. The feelings, the emotions, the thoughts, completely different. And so can you imagine that if every single day I woke up and I went in my closet and I said, maybe today these jeans will fit, and I tried the smaller jeans, and day after day after day after day, they don't fit, how is that going to make an impact on my relationship with my body? It's going to have a negative impact. And so this is where I want to encourage you. You are not supposed to shape shift your body to fit into clothes. You are supposed to purchase and own clothes that fit your body comfortably. And that is where it's just so, so important to recognize this, because that is going to help you lessen the amount of body image triggers that you have. Is this going to be perfect? Is this plan foolproof? No, because your body is meant to ebb and flow and change throughout your entire life. So I encourage you to keep clothes that are too big right now. I encourage you to keep clothes that are too small right now, because your body is going to change. Your body is going to shape shift. And the more that you uncouple your worth and your mission to be shrinking your body, the more happy and present you will be. So I encourage you to make that closet your safe haven. And if you found this helpful, I really want to encourage you, please, please, please rate, review, subscribe to the podcast. Let us know if you like this episode. Let us know what you want to see more of. And if you're listening and you're like, this was so needed, like I needed to hear this message, it just felt like divine timing and it felt like you were speaking directly to me, please head on over to findfoodfreedomresources.com. Again, that's findfoodfreedomresources.com. You'll see free trainings. You'll see coaching. We have group coaching, one-on-one coaching, mastermind, which is a hybrid of the two. We have so many different resources there. So if you head over to findfoodfreedomresources.com, you'll see all of the resources that we have, and take what serves you and leave the rest behind. So thank you so much for being here today. I think this episode, if you have a body and wear clothes, which is pretty much everyone, I think this episode can be pretty relatable. So thanks so much for being here. And I will see you next week on the Find Food Freedom podcast.